Hi, I read the story Soldier Boy by Brian Berks. The book's copyright was in 1997, and its genre is historical fiction with a total of 151 pages. The Indian Wars raged from a period of 1865 to 1890. Young men from all over the country were recruited to join the army. Many wanted to escape parental authority or leave farm work. The story involves a character named Johnny McBain, and he used the nickname The Kid. Johnny lived in Chicago during 1876. He was a fighter and loved a good fight, as long as he won. He kept winning, and others in the community gave him meals and lots of respect. One night, as his promoter paid thousands of dollars to have him fight and lose, he did not want to do that. Consequently, the promoter came after him. Chicago at that time in history was very dangerous. A young boy could go missing and no one would know any different. He was off running through a very cold, snowy night. Cold and hungry, he came upon a train and hopped on, not knowing where he would end up. He ended up waking up tired, sore from the fight the night before, and very hungry. This was not the first time that he was hungry. He walked down a road and saw two restaurants, but they were both too rich for his clothes. Then he saw a small cafe, which he thought would do fine. He asked the woman in the cafe what town was he in. She said, "Why, St. Louis, of course," and placed a cup of coffee in front of him. She turned and spoke to the sergeant. "How is the recruiting going?" He told her very slowly. Sitting there, 2 stools away, was Johnny, and he was thinking about frontier life. The glory of wearing a uniform, having all the meals taken care of for you. The recruiter looked at Johnny and asked, "How old are you?" He replied, "I don't really remember." And then he asked, "How tall are you?" And he said, "I have no idea." The recruiter paid for his meal and gave him a huge slice of pie for dessert. I like the character Johnny because he's a rough, tough boy who decides he has to change his life and find a way to support himself. He reflects on his life, his current needs, food, a place to live, and his finances. He is very uncomfortable. He has no schooling, no money, and knows the prospects of getting a job are very slim. Consequently, he asks himself, "Why should I say no? I guess I should join the army." He can't think of any reasons to say no, and he makes the biggest decision of his life. He joins. He will change everything about who he knows and loves. This was the beginning of an adventure, travel, the unknown of war, and working in the military. He is brave and shows a tremendous amount of courage. Little did he know he would end up a private in Colonel Custer's cavalry, learning to fight for his life against the Sioux Indians. I would give this book 4 stars. The Lexile level is for a middle school student. This book reads very easily and gives information on topics enough to understand and want to know more. The story paints a picture of a world very different from our own, yet the accounts of history are accurate and portray a life children today will never know unless they read this story.